Yes, a federal judge has blocked plans to move the FBI's headquarters to a federal office building in the nation's capital. The judge found yesterday that the Trump administration had illegally tossed out a previously approved plan to build a new facility nearby in the aforementioned state of Maryland. Joining us now, the Democratic governor of that state, Wes Moore. He is a combat veteran who served in Afghanistan with the Army's 82nd Airborne Division. Governor, good morning. Good to see you. I know, of course, you were pushing for this move to take place. So what will it mean for the state? Yes, but also for the Bureau to have its headquarters in this new facility in Maryland?
Well, good morning. And what the judge fundamentally said is Donald Trump does not get to break the law because he doesn't like the fact that our state did not vote for him or that we have a Democratic governor. This was a process that has been going on for over a decade, a process that's going to be responsible for a new FBI building that our agents and our analysts need and deserve because the current building is falling apart. This building is going to be worth about 7,000 jobs, about $5 billion of economic activity to the state of Maryland. But importantly, it's a building that is going to be safe and secure and near public transit and can be built cost effectively and quickly in a way that it can help preserve the national security mission for this country. That's why Maryland was selected in a competitive bid process. And the president of the United States does not have the authority to be able to simply say on a whim, well, I don't want it to go there because it is a Democratic state. That's not how it works. And so we're thankful for the decision of the judge. We are ready to get to work, and it's time to stop playing the games and get this building built.
Governor, let's spend another moment on that idea, this political retribution campaign from the administration against blue states. We have here at MS Now, we've done extensive reporting on how states that did not vote for Trump have not received as much federal aid, disaster aid included. You mentioned what's happening there in Maryland with the FBI headquarters. We have seen him just a few weeks ago when there's credible U.S. intel reports that Iran was behind a hacking of the water systems in Minnesota. He blamed Minnesota and ignored the idea that actually it was happening in other states, too. So with that as the backdrop, this is president, though his poll numbers are low, is still going to wield power. He's still in office for 2.5 more years. That retribution campaign continues. How do you navigate that from your state house?
Well, I mean, we have seen from our earliest days that the president seems to have a very special interest in coming after me and so many of our other Democratic gubernatorial colleagues. But the biggest problem is that he's coming after our people. And that's why we're fighting. Because I look at the state of Maryland where Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have now fired over 31,000 Marylanders in a year who are federal workers, who had the audacity of doing things like making sure that our food is safe, making sure that our water is clean, making sure that our planes are not colliding. And they went after them first. That we, as you mentioned, have not received $1 in federal disaster relief. Even when we saw in places like Western Maryland, which is Appalachia, a place that voted for the president by 77%, had historic floods. And we had to tap into state resources exclusively because the federal government left them on their own. And we're now seeing where he continues to go after basic supports like health care, kicking hundreds of thousands of Marylanders off of health care. Tens of thousands of our children are now about to lose food support, federal food support that they relied on. But the thing I think that people of Maryland know and appreciate is that in me and in our team and in Team Maryland, we are fighters. We are going to make sure that we're not just pushing back against this administration, hence also things like the lawsuit that we were successful with the FBI building, or the lawsuit that we were successful in making sure that he's not going to cancel mail-in balloting, but also making sure that we can push forward to address the real issues that the people of Maryland care about, and that we're going to make sure that we can bring down costs, that we can build more housing, have safer streets, and these are things we're going to get done for our folks.
Trying to cancel mail-in balloting, but yet voted by mail himself in the Florida primaries today. Governor, let's switch topics here. We noted you're a veteran. You also posted a few days ago a message to those sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, which, of course, had a record-setting stint at sea with no port calls to speak of, in harm's way. We heard the president of the United States yesterday blast it all as fake news, claiming that everything is fine, the conditions are great, no one has any complaints, and attacking the media, when, of course, we have heard now from family members of those on board. They're the ones with these accounts of poor conditions and deep mental health challenges, including few sailors who jumped overboard.
Well, this is a president who thinks that everything is fine because he has no context. He's never been forward deployed. He's never worn the uniform of this country. He's never had to say goodbye to a family member. He's never had to put his life in the hands of commanding officers with a hope that they were going to make the best decisions for them that can both support both the mission and the people who they're leading under. He's never had to do that. In fact, what we have seen from the President of the United States is we've now seen over 28,000 people who work for the VA have been fired, the vast majority of them military veterans themselves. That we have seen how he's now talking about these extended deployments as if this is just like a summer camp that these people are now endeavoring on. These are people who are willing to risk their life on behalf of this country. And these are family members who are willing to give their family members because they love this country so much. But the lack of not just appreciation, but understanding that's coming from the commander in chief is not just deeply frustrating. It is angering amongst these families. It is angering in the veterans community, and it is angering because we're doing it because he is right now fulfilling a war that none of us understand, that none of us want, that is costing billions of dollars and is costing the price of everything to go up. And for what? And so I think there's a reason that we are seeing this outrage amongst these family members and amongst the veterans community as a whole when we're watching the commander in chief take such a silly and unappreciative approach to the fact that these men and women are willing to sacrifice on behalf of him and this country.
And Governor, as a brief final question, as we're running out of time here, you mentioned the costs of this war. As you were across your state, you're running for re-election. Is that still topic number one for so many voters, whether it be gas or groceries or health care, just how expensive everything is under this administration?
There is not a day that goes by when we are not hearing it. And we are in our communities every day. And not a day goes by when we don't hear people who are talking about the cost of the fact that healthcare premiums are going up and people are getting kicked off of healthcare because of H.R. 1. That not a day goes by that we are hearing from our farmers and our agricultural workers that because of these illegal tariffs, because of this absurd immigration policy and this improper usage of this lawless ICE agency, that we are now seeing how their costs are going up, fertilizer costs are going up, getting people to be able to come to work is become more of a challenge. That for people able to buy homes and being able to create homes and build homes inside this moment when the prices of everything are going up, that becomes more challenging. So we are seeing this across the board from farmers, from entrepreneurs, from working families. And so we are going to do everything in our power to be able to address things like utility relief, like we've done in Maryland, to be able to give the middle class a tax cut, like we have done in Maryland, to be able to ban price gouging and price manipulation in supermarkets, like we have done in Maryland. But there is no doubt that people are feeling this pain, and also they know where this pain is coming from in Washington, D.C., and the games that are being played in Washington, D.C. is making their lives tougher.